We are teetering on the edge of fascism. Check this out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. A reminder, my new book, The Hidden History of American Oligarchy, it couldn't be more timely. The subtitle, Reclaiming Our Democracy from the Ruling Class, is out next week. And Tuesday of next week, David Korten and I are doing a conversation about the Hidden History of American Oligarchy at Powell's bookstore. POWELLS.com is the website, I'm pretty sure. And of course, there's a link to it at ThomHartmann.com. On Thursday of next week, I'll be doing a solo event with Town Hall Seattle talking about the book. And that will be Thursday, February 4th at 6 p.m. Pacific time. The Powell's event is on Tuesday at 5 p.m. You have to sign up for each one of these. Again, the links are over at our website at ThomHartmann.com. And or Town Hall Seattle, they've got their own website. Powell's has its own website. And then the following week, the week after next, David Korten and I will be revisiting our conversation for Books and Books, and that'll be on Tuesday, February 9th at 4 p.m. Pacific time. So that's what's coming up, and I think you're going to really like this book and my conversations about it. And in fact, today, the piece that I wrote for over at ThomHartmann.medium.com. Medium is just, I've just discovered this really great place. I realize there's several sites like this. You know, Substack is doing the same thing, although that's kind of more for like newsletters. Like I believe David Sirota is using that. But Medium.com is a site where basically for the cost of a cup of coffee a month, I think it's $5 a month is the membership for Medium, and that gives you access to literally thousands of writers on dozens or hundreds of topics there's some really good stuff there with no advertising, no solicitation, no hustle, no selling your email ad, none of that kind of stuff. I've become a real fan. I've been following a couple of people, particularly Umair Haque over at Medium for, 4 or 5 months now, and decided to just jump in about 3 weeks ago. And every day I'm publishing an op-ed there. I'm writing every morning. Louise and I get up and write this op-ed and just, get it up over there. And it typically becomes the basis of my rant for the day. And that's very much the case today. Today, the piece that I published today is titled, We're at the Threshold of a Fascist Authoritarian Takeover, and January 6th was our Kristallnacht. And the subtitle, The Work of 245 Years and Millions of Lives Dedicated or Given to Defend the American Ideal Could Vanish. And I start out by pointing out that today is the anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz. And it's the day after 45% of the United States Senate, 45 Republicans in the United States Senate, voted yesterday to say, Donald Trump inciting a mob to storm the Capitol building and murder 5 people or kill 5 people, including murdering a police officer. And by the way, the second police officer who responded to this is a D.C. Metro police officer. They just announced today, it's over at the Washington Post, a second police officer who responded to this riot has now committed suicide. This is tough stuff. But we've got Republicans saying, yeah, fascism, it's fine with us. So how does this happen in a society is the question that I'm asking. And I'm going to try and answer that right now. How does it happen that Germany in the 30s or Italy in the 20s or Spain in the 30s or Chile in the 70s or the Philippines today or how is it, or the United States at this very moment, how is it that countries, developed, advanced, wealthy countries, flip into fascism? How does that happen? What is the force that drives it? And one of the things I point out is that yesterday, and I want to point out to you, is that yesterday Joe Lockhart, he was Bill Clinton's press secretary for several years during the Clinton administration. He tweeted out yesterday, quote, being a Republican senator now means nothing matters. Nothing matters. Not the storming of the Capitol, not an attempted coup, not trying to overturn a free and fair election. Nothing matters. The party of Trump, nothing matters. And my response to that is essentially, Joe, you're describing the party somewhat accurately, but there is something that matters. And what matters is the authoritarianism. We all, every single one of us, every human being on this earth, in the early years of our lives, were entirely dependent upon others. We were dependent upon our parents for food, for having our diaper changed, for having, for nurturing us, for raising us. There have been times in all of our lives when we needed somebody bigger, larger, and stronger than us to protect us and nurture us and nourish us. Now, some people got through childhood relatively unscathed, and they have a fairly decent sense of self, and they live their adult lives without great fear. But there are other people who had such insecurity through their childhood. And there may be some kind of, proclivity, maybe it's genetic, maybe it's temperament, who knows, that's also a part of this. I mean, there's a huge debate in the psychological community. But the best guess is that, 20 to 30% of people in any advanced society are what are called authoritarian followers. They want daddy or mommy, more often than not daddy. They want to be protected. They want to be cared for. They want a strong authority figure. They're frightened by uncertainty. And authoritarianism offers certainty, safety, security, for the in-group. In this case, in the United States, it's white people. It offers that safety and security and, yes, you're in charge and don't worry and Big Daddy Trump is going to take care of you. And democracy, on the other hand, is messy. Right? It's messy. It's uncertain. You don't know how it's going to play out. You don't know what's going to happen. Sometimes you lose, sometimes you win. And people who are authoritarian followers don't like that. They're frightened by that at a deep level, at a level that emerged when they were 3 and 4 and 5 years old. I mean, I knew several Nazis. I was very close friends with Armin Lehman, who was, when he was 16 years old, he was the guy who delivered the news to Hitler that the war was lost in the bunker. My mentor, my closest friend for years, Gottfried Müller, he was part of the German army, parachuted into Iraq to help the Kurds seize the oil fields for Hitler. And when I asked these guys, how did this happen? They're like, well, it was almost like the country just overnight, and it was really a matter of a few months, maybe a year or so, but essentially overnight the country just flipped. And what that is that tipping point is reached where enough people in society say, we are so freaked out, we are so afraid, we are so uncertain, we will take the strong man over this uncertainty. The Washington Post has a story today. 1 in 7 American families are going to bed hungry. Now, today. This, just like the ravages of the Great Depression and the Treaty of Versailles, what that did to Germany set the stage for Hitler. The failure of 4 years of Trumpism to feed people in America is setting the stage for fascism in the United States. Now, this is not an idea that I just came up with. Robert Altmaier wrote a book called The Authoritarians. John Dean who's been on the show many times, did a sequel to it, Conservatives Without Conscience. Hannah Arendt's famous The Origins of Totalitarianism. They all basically make the same point. That, right-wingism, authoritarianism, lives at the margins of society eternally, right? It's always there, 5 or 10% of the population. But during times of crisis, it can pop and it can reach 30, 40, 50% of the population and suddenly sweep across the country like a wave. People say, okay, today's the anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz. How did that happen in Germany? We're watching it right now.